Hey, how are we doing today? I hope everybody's doing great. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about the altered mode. The altered mode is one of the modes from melodic minor, and it's really useful over, you guessed it, an altered chord. Now, in this case, we're talking about E altered. So an E altered chord would be like E7 with any combinations of flat 9, sharp 9, flat 5, and sharp 5. So there's, different kinds of chords, voicings. And so if you recall from one of the previous lessons, I said that, for every major scale mode, there's like a cousin melodic minor scale mode, right? So in this case, mixed Lydian would be like Lydian dominant, or Lydian would be like Lydian augmented, and so forth and so on. But altered is more of a specific mode that you need to learn because you're going to get these altered chords on occasion, right? Now, so there's two ways to think of a mode, and musicians like to fight about this. But don't fight about it. It's a silly argument. So the argument here is that when you think of a mode, a lot of musicians will tell you that you want to think of it from a parallel standpoint, meaning just the intervals, right? So in other words, C Lydian would be a 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7 scale, or Lydian dominant would be a 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, flat 7 scale. Now, this is easy for certain modes, right? Because if you want to play C Lydian, it's just a major scale with a sharp 4, so it's easy to think about it in that respect, because when you think of parallel, you're comparing C Lydian to C major. You're comparing the intervals, right? Now, when you think of a scale derivatively, you're thinking about what the parent scale is. So in this case, C Lydian would be G major because it has an F sharp in it. So technically, if you have a C major 7 sharp 11 chord, if you play a G major scale, you're going to be playing by default C Lydian, okay? So both these ways are really useful ways of thinking. Now, in the case of altered, if we're going to think about it in the parallel point of view, it's just a 1, flat 2, flat 3, flat 9, sharp 9, right? 3, flat 5, sharp 5, and a flat 7 scale. So when we play it, it's going to sound like this. Right? But that being said, thinking derivatively is really easy for this scale because it's just the melodic minor scale. It's up a half step, okay? So an E altered mode would be F melodic minor. So if you see an E7 sharp 9 sharp 5 on a chart, just think melodic minor, F melodic minor. And these altered chords, generally speaking, are always going to resolve to a 1 chord. They're like really like strong functioning 5 chords, okay? So E7 sharp 9 sharp 5. It likes to go to a 1 chord, either minor or major. All right? So whichever way you like to think about it is perfectly fine as long as you can play it. Before we get to today's progression that we're going to play over, my first suggestion is that you just play over a really long E7 altered vamp, okay? So that's what I'm going to demonstrate for you. And the reason why you do this is because you want to become familiar with the sound of the scale, the fingerings of these different patterns, and you want to just get used to it. You want to become friends with it. And the best way to become friends with it, or even another person, is just by spending a little time, the two of you together. So chord and scale, and that's all you're going to practice for, however long it takes you to become pals with the E altered scale, all right? So I'm going to go over there and put on the E7 chord, all right? I came up with some ideas that I thought were cool, and I realized some interesting little tidbits of information about the scale while I did that. For example, I noticed that there's 3 dominant chords, a dominant arpeggios that you can play in here. We're an E, right? So look, like some kind of E altered arpeggio. This would be like, what would this be? E7 flat 5. But also, there's also like a B flat 7 arpeggio. Those are cool combinations. There's also a C7 arpeggio in it. So that was kind of interesting. Another thing I did is, since we're in E, I used an open string here. What did I do? I went something like this. I thought that was a cool sound. I've noticed that there's double stop. I played kind of this crazy lick that I do a lot. Oh, I noticed that there's a G minor pentatonic scale inside of this. And I put the E note in it, though. There's certain kinds of music where you just get to jam over E7 or something, and then, you can mix this up with the blues or whatever. But, where it really becomes useful is when you have a functioning 5 chord, so that E7 go into like A major or A minor. Okay, so today's chord progression, we're playing 4 bars of A minor. One measure of F7. I'm sorry, 2 measures of F7. And then 2 measures of E7 altered, which is, I think in this case, maybe sharp 5, sharp 9. Now, let's say you had to play over this on a gig or wherever, on one, somebody's tune, you're recording or whatever, and this progression popped up. You can certainly, if you're good at playing blues, you can get away with just playing a blues. Let's just, for the sake of conversation, I'll play the devil's advocate here, and I'm just going to play a blues over the whole thing, okay? And let's check that out. All right, so, that works okay, right? It's not a bad thing at all. But that being said, you don't want to be stuck in one pattern, right? So, in the case you have to play over this, you're playing with jazz guys or fusion guys, or, I don't know, maybe you're recording and, the producer says they want something more sophisticated sounding, in that case, you should be able to do this, right? So anyways, so I'm going to play I'm going to play the demo for you now. It's going to be A minor. For A minor 7, it's going to be either like A minor pentatonic scale or like a Dorian, okay? For the F7, I'm probably going to play F Lydian dominant, right? F Lydian dominant is going to be C melodic minor, okay? And then E altered is going to be the E altered scale and F melodic minor, okay? So if you need to spend a lot of time. Melodic minor, I remember when I learned it, I just couldn't make it really work. It sounded very wrong or unusual to my baby ears. And it takes a lot of repetition, okay? But, it's an acquired taste, so you get used to it. It's like, I've said it before in videos. It's like whiskey or cigarettes or sushi or whatever. The more you mess around with it, the more you're going to like it, okay? So go get them tracks if you want them. And get to work on it. Next time, we're going to be talking about another mode that I hadn't talked about previously from melodic minor scale. We're going to add it to this progression, and then it's going to be like, a cornucopia of melodic minor going on. All right, so I'll see you next time. Give it a try and let me know how it goes.